Muhammad Ali, let's start. Yes, sit down. Okay. We have to clip this onto you here. This is the mic. Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Yes, let's start.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على آل محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد.
اللهم صل على One more time? Okay, one more time, but you have to be louder.
I'm doing another ayat.
Okay, another ayat? Okay, good. Chale.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين فذلك الذي يدعو اليتيم ولا يحض على طعام المسكين ويل للمصلين الذين هم عن صلاتهم سماعون الذين هم يراءون ويمنعون الماعون آمين.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Jazakallah. Very nice. MashaAllah. Okay. Sakina? Dobara.
नारे तकबीर
अल्लाहु अकबर
नारे रसालत
या रसूल अल्लाह
नारे हैदरी
जय
आवाज बुलंद सलावत. Okay, so I'm gonna be answering frequently asked questions about Hadith Qissa. So, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allahumma. Okay, sorry.
Let's recite the root together. Allahumma salli ala
Okay, so the Hadith is the collected traditions of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, based on his sayings and actions. The Qissa is a cloak, blanket, or chadar. For example, al-Qissa in Arabic means people of the cloak. Also known as al-Aba in Arabic means family of the cloak. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, his daughter Bibi Fatima alayhi salam, his cousin and son-in-law Imam Ali alayhi salam, and his grandsons Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein. Hadith Qissa is the incident of the Qissa when the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, kept the Qissa on his Imam Ali alayhi salam, Bibi Fatima alayhi salam, and Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein alayhi salam. And then Angel Jibreel also came and took part with them. It was narrated by more than 20 authentic narrators, but Abu Hurairah stands at the top of the list. He was regarded by the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, himself as the most eager of all Muslims to acquire knowledge of the Hadith. According to the Hadith, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, gathered his daughter Bibi Fatima, her husband Imam Ali, and their two sons Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein, And then he prayed, "O God, these are my Ahlul Bayt, the people of my house, and my closest family members. Remove impiety from them and purify them completely." In reply, Allah confirmed and announced to all the angels that and inmates of the heaven that He has created everything in this entire universe for these 5 people under the cloak, who are inside this cloak. Upon which Angel Jibreel seek permission from Allah to fly to earth and join them as the 6th person. He came down and delivered the message of Allah to the Prophet and his family, repeating what he had been told in the heavens.
अहले बैत की ज़ात पर दुरूद और सलाम अल्लाहुम्मा सल्ली अला मुहम्मद आले मुहम्मद.
And asked the Prophet if he could come under the cloak, although he had already been permitted by Allah. Then Angel Jibreel came under the cloak. In this story, basically, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, promised that when any of our Shias and supporters on this earth will assemble in a gathering and narrate this hadith, Allah will bestow upon them all His blessings and mercy. Angels will encircle them and pray for their forgiveness and mercy of all their sins. From this hadith, we learn that the people under the Qissa were the most pure and most perfect. Their special status over the Muslim community. This beautiful story introduces the impeccable servants of God, and if we follow their actions, we will lead a faithful and fulfilling life. That's all.
We can ask questions of, obviously we'll ask you questions again. So, or you can even ask this question. So what is a hadith? What is a hadith? Yes, now say.
It's like a story which has
It is a story that has Prophet Muhammad in it.
and it's real.
And it's clear. Yes, I would like you guys. Yes. Yes. What's a hadith? Narration? Okay. Yeah. So anything that the Prophet did or say, narrated by anybody? Any idea? Sorry? The companions. Okay, good. Narrated by the companions. This is something that we all need to focus on. So for us, hadith is really important because that's going to tell us what to do. You know, in any whatever action that the Holy Prophet performed or did, whatever he said, it is something that will help us or guide us. But the most important thing to remember here is who is narrating this hadith. Those who are closest to the Prophet should be trusted the most. So if I tell you that my grandfather heard it from his grandfather, who heard it from his friend, who heard it from his friend's uncle, who heard it from his uncle's friend's granddad's nephew, that the Holy Prophet was saying this. How authentic is that saying, or how authentic is that hadith? What do you think? Is that something that we can understand or relate to, or should accept that, okay, this is definitely what the Holy Prophet must have said or done? What do you think? What do you think? In Arabic, this is what they call a very zaif riwayat. Zaif. The word zaif is something that you will later on learn, but it is not something that we should take it with a pinch of salt. You know, it is not something that we should readily accept. What we can readily accept with regards to a hadith, if it is narrated by somebody very close to the Holy Prophet. And for us, though that is the Constantinople, his daughter, his grandsons, or his brother-in-law, son-in-law or his cousin or brother, or the people immediately very close to the Holy Prophet or in his circle. So how authentic do you think this hadith is, this hadith-e-qissa? Anybody? How authentic do you think this is? Khatija, how authentic do you think this hadith is? Who is the narrator of this hadith? You told us that. Bibi Fatima. So are we supposed to believe this hadith? Yes, of course. His own daughter is telling us that, right? So it is a very authentic saying or action of the Holy Prophet. Okay, another question. How did Allah send his revelation or send the Quran to the Holy Prophet? And I want you guys, the Rizvis, so you guys need to tell me that. How did Allah send his revelations to the Holy Prophet? Any idea? Anybody? Yes? Sorry? Okay, yes. Very good. Yes, he would send the revelations through Hazrat Jibreel. Did something happen here, Sakina? Did Allah send a revelation when this whole activity or this incident happened?
Yes, so Allah sent, Angel Jibreel asked Allah if he could join them under the cloak.
Yeah.
And he asked the Holy Prophet if he could join them.
Yes, but he didn't come empty-handed, did he? He came with something. Yes, Khatija, what did he come with? He came with an ayat. Yes. Hamza, any idea what was the ayat that he came with? It was ayat-e-tatheer, exactly. And what is that? Do you know what that ayat-e-tatheer is? Any idea? What this ayat is? Yes? Yes, they are the purest and no amount of impurity can ever touch them. So, these Panchtan-e-Pak are so pious and pure that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our God himself, has sent a revelation in the Holy Quran. It's mentioned, there is a complete saying about them, these 5 people. So they are so pious, so pure and worthy of all our respect, absolute respect and absolute devotion. So this is something that please all of you should remember, that these 5 are the ones about who the God himself has praised them and sent a complete ayat in their honor, which is ayat-e-tatheer, and that is in which surah? Any idea about the surah, the name of the surah that this ayat-e-tatheer is in? Yes? No, not Surah Baqarah. No. Yes? Surah Ahzab. Excellent. Very good. So it's in Surah Ahzab. Okay? Thank you so very much. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajal farajahum ajmain. Everybody, it is time for Ya Zahra. So we will all recite it together. No. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. There are so many of us, we should recite it all. We should recite the Durood together. And I want to get it. Yes, and the mothers are encouraged to please recite it with us. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Let's raise our hands for Bibi Fatima Zahra's dua. Ya Zahra, Ya Zahra, Ya Zahra, Ya Zahra.
ممنون شہزادی جہاں سارا یا زہرا یا زہرا یا زہرا یا زہرا تو ہمیں حفظ اور امان دے اپنی چادر کا صاحبہ دے دے تیری قدرت میں کیا نہیں بی بی تجھ سے چاہے دو جہاں دے دے یا زہرا یا زہرا یا زہرا یا زہرا فرش مجلس پہ اور مصلی پر ہر جواں کہہ رہا ہے رو رو کر ہم رہے نہ رہے مگر بی بی تا قیامت رہے غم سرور یا زہرا یا زہرا یا زہرا یا زہرا اے میری بی بی اے میری بی بی تیرے بچوں کا ہم مناتے ہیں اپنی اولاد سے کہیں بڑھ کے غم یہ پیارا ہے یا زہرا یا زہرا
اللہم صلی علی محمد وعلی محمد. Hold this. One of you, can you clip it? Can you sit over here, please? Make it up. Okay.
She's gonna start this one. یا بنت نبی فاطمہ تشریف لے آؤ بیٹھے آزادار رضا خانے میں آؤ وقت ہو چکا ہے مجلس کا اب تشریف لے آؤ بیٹھے ہیں آزادار رضا خانے میں آؤ عرضی قبول کیجیے تشریف لے آؤ
عجل فرجهم واصلح اللہم صلی علی محمد
اے رات نہ ڈھلنا کہ اجھڑ جائے گی زینب بھائی سے دم صبح بچھڑ جائے گی زینب اے رات نہ ڈھلنا کہ اجھڑ جائے گی زینب سونے دے سکینہ کو کہ پھر سو نہ سکے گی رونا بھی جو چاہے گی تو پھر رو نہ سکے گی اصغر سے ملاقات تو پھر ہو نہ سکے گی اے رات نہ ڈھلنا کہ اجھڑ جائے گی زینب گھبرائے ہوئے لال ہیں سہمی ہوئی مائیں جی بھر کے میں دلوں علی اکبر کو دعائیں لینا ہے ابھی آنو محمد کی بلائیں اے رات نہ ڈھلنا کہ اجھڑ جائے گی زینب اے رات بکھر جا تیرے بس میں ہو جہاں تک مٹ جائیں گے کل آل پیمبر کے نشان تک باقی ہے یہ منظر علی اکبر کی اذان تک اے رات نہ ڈھلنا کہ اجھڑ جائے گی زینب
Very nice. Well done.
Thank you.
نعرے تکبیر نعرے رسالت
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين الملقب طه وياسين سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم محمد صل على وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المنتجبين المنتخبين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. أما بعد فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى في كتابه المجيد والفرقانه الحميد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. Please start us out. By the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is the fourth day we have gathered here so we can commemorate the month of Muharram and the Azadari of Abu Abdullah Hussein alayhi salam. The topic we have been speaking about is the human journey and the reason for this life to reach perfection. I hope the brothers and sisters remember the topic, yeah? So far we have spoken about, today what we'll be speaking, I'll say that what we have already spoken about in the first day was the need for the religion. That's the first day we spoke about. Then the second day we spoke about the usul-e-din. So I'm just reviewing this so we are on the same page so I can take the topic forward so we can try to reach that perfection and the kamal for which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created us for. So the second day we spoke about the usul-e-din. Now let me ask, what were the usul-e-din? Is it something to do with the beliefs or the actions? Other than Mustafa, yeah. So it is to do something with the actions or beliefs. So usul-e-din is with the beliefs, yeah. So usul-e-din are the beliefs. We said those are the roots of the religion. So if we have strong roots of religion, we can have good actions as well, yeah. And on the next day, that was the third day, which was yesterday, we spoke about the furu-e-din. We spoke about the actions. We said our actions can be good if our beliefs are good. Very good. I'm very happy the young ones, if they remember, if they can remember this thing, then 100% I'm sure the elder ones, they would remember that. And just remembering is not the thing. Remembrance with acting what we learn is the main thing. And like we had said, okay, we have come here to learn something. We have come here the 10 days or the 12 days we come, except Ashura. So at least let's have this resolution. The first 10 days we're going to take 10 good things and improve ourselves. And we are going to, what? On the other hand, we are going to remove the 10 bad habits, yeah, because we come here, it's not just like a habit. We come here every day or every year. We come in the month of Muharram, we come and we sit and we commemorate and then go away. No, the purpose of Imam Hussein alayhi salam is not for 1 year or 1 month. It's been how many years by now? 1,400, and this is 45th year that the azadari of Imam Hussein alayhi salam has been continued. If Imam had no purpose, believe me, it wouldn't have been this long. Now there had been so many other religions or so many other rituals, or you see every year they would have different things. But you will not see something like the commemoration of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Now let's have a look at Arba'in as well, then I get back to the topic. Now when the people go and gather for Arba'een, that is the 40th of the Shahada. So 20th of Safar, it is Arba'een means 40th, which is 40 days after the Shahadat of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. So that is the 20th Safar. We see that how many people gather in the plains of Karbala. They come, they walk from Najaf to Karbala just to remember Imam Hussain. If there was no purpose of Imam Hussain, why would millions of people, 20 million or 27 or 30 million, so we can say like 20 to 30 million people, they come to Karbala every year for what? They have some purpose. But if they just come and they walk and go away without any purpose, what would be the use of coming and walking? No, they come with the purpose. They come there so they can commemorate and remember Imam Hussain. Not just Imam Hussain, rather Imam Hussein's message as well, so they can take away with them. And that is the congregation which is even more than the Hajj. The people, those who go for Hajj, we know that they are not more than 2 or 3 million people. But still it becomes very difficult for the government to take care of those 2 and 3 million people. Like few years ago, if you people remember, there was so many people died, so many people were shaheed. They died just because of the bad management for that year. I don't remember exactly what year was that, if the brothers and sisters remember that. So that was one year when so many people died of different countries, and then they were buried in Saudi as well. So just taking care of 2 and 3 million people becomes hard for them. But when we come to Karbala, 20 million, 30 million people are coming. They are enjoying spiritually, and then they are going back. So that means there is some hadaf, there is some purpose. किसी हदफ के साथ हम लोग मजलिस में भी आते हैं और इसी हदफ के साथ करबला भी जाते हैं. So today we are going to speak about the third thing. Now let me recall that again. We said if we divide the deen and the religion, there would be 3 categories. Number 1, there was beliefs, that is the ideology of a person, which has to be done with the usul al-deen. Number 2 was actions, which is the furu al-deen. We spoke about it yesterday. Yeah. And the 3rd one was, let's see who remembers. Ethics. Very good. The 3rd is the ethics, which is the akhlaq, which is how we behave with others. Now this is the topic what I'm going to take. Again, this has a lot to be spoken. It's very difficult to summarize everything in like half an hour, but I still try to put it in some words so it is understandable and it is accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the Imams. When he looks at this gathering, he should have, inshallah, he sees and he's seeing us. So by looking at the content, what we are saying and what we are learning, he should be happy with it. And when we go away, we should be taking something with ourselves. Please recite a salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. So yesterday, we were speaking about the furwedeen. We mentioned about namaz as well. One of the things I will just mention and come towards today's topic is that in one of the verses in Surah Mudaththir, if not mistaken, it is mentioned that the people, those who will go in the hellfire, जो लोग जहन्नम में जाएंगे, तो वो लोग कलाम करेंगे जन्नत वालों से. They will be looking at the people, those who are in the paradise. Yeah. So the people, those who are in paradise, they will ask the people in the hellfire, कि आप लोग जहन्नम में क्यों गए हो? What is the reason that you are in the hellfire? So one of those reasons, it is mentioned in Surah Mudaththir, it will be said, لَمْ نَكُ مِنَ الْمُصَلِّينَ, कि हम नमाज पढ़ने वाले नहीं थे. So this is one of the reasons that they will go to hell. Why? Because they were not amongst those people, those who were praying. So now, today's topic is ethics. Again, ethics is a very vast topic. It is something to do with our actions, how we behave with others. Furwedeen were the actions, what we perform, namaz, roza, hajj, zakat, khums, jihad, and how do we do these things. But when we come to the akhlaq, we have so many other things as well. Why? Because it is something to do with the behavior, that how we behave with others. So I will be counting some of the good akhlaq, and some of the things which are known as bad akhlaq, so we can see that, and if we have something bad in us, we can try to remove that, and if we have something good, we can keep it and inshallah increase that. There are 3 types of connections a person can have. Please listen to this carefully, yeah? There are 3 types of connection a human being can have. Number 1, the connection of the human being with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Number 2, the connection of the human being with himself. And number 3 is the connection of the human being with the others. I'll say that again so it becomes clear. What is the first one? The connection. My connection is how it is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that is haqqullah, the rights of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now what does it mean? How is my connection with Allah? Whatever Allah has commanded me to do, that comes in haqqullah. I have to pray, I have to do this, I have to do that. Whatever Allah has commanded, that is in haqqullah. So if I act upon what Allah had commanded, that means I have a good relation with Allah and good connection with Allah, and I can get to that proximity of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and get closer to Him. So this is the first one. Number 2, that is the connection with my own self. That what is my connection with my own self? And number 3 is the social ethics, that how do I behave with the others? How do I behave with you? How do I behave with my parents, with my wife, or wives with husbands? And how do I deal with my children? So these are the things inshallah we'll be speaking today. So now these are the social ethics. And social ethics, what does social ethics means? इज्तिमा, यानी दूसरों के साथ किस तरीके से हम लोग इर्तिबात हासिल करते हैं, जो राब्ता है. And that cannot be without the people. Now, the first person who was created, खुदा ने जो खल्क की पहली कायनात में पहले शख्स को, उसके बाद खुदा ने दूसरों को भी खल्क किया. So it is impossible for a person to go in isolation and stay alone. So we have to live with others. Now this is Islam, which teaches us how to behave with others. So beautiful. Islam is nothing that, okay, Islam just came and it doesn't give you the rulings or something. No, it gives you the ruling. It teaches you everything, that how you should live a life. Either it is the connection with Allah, connection with my own self, or connection with the others. So now, the social ethics have been there since the creation had been there. This is so far clear. So Prophet Adam, and then Bibi Hawa, and then the children, and gradually the creation increased, and their connection with the others also appeared. So a person cannot, we cannot say that, okay, I can go and live in the mountains so I don't have any connection with others. No. I have to have the connection and interaction with others. Now, Islam teaches us how to have that connection and interaction. So, the social ethics, it has to be there. Now, I have brought up some of the good actions which we already know. Is just a reminder for all of us. First of all, between the family and the relationship, there is the love between a family and relatives. How a person deals with his wife, how the wife deals with the husband, and the same way how they deal with their own children. Yeah, so it has been mentioned in Quran. Now I don't have time, otherwise I would have mentioned the verses and the translation for that. For this, inshallah, brothers and sisters, they can go on internet and you can have plenty of and various material on this topic as well. The second thing, for the relationships amongst the relatives, would be sila rahim. What is sila rahim? We say it in Urdu, everybody knows that. What is it? Brothers or sisters? Anybody? Mustafa? That is tie, how to have the connection with their relatives. Sila means the connection. Rahim means those who are close to you, your family members. Yeah. Again, I don't want to go deep into that. Yeah. So it comes from, let's say, especially the parents' close relatives, your uncles, your aunts, your cousins. So how do we behave with them? And what should we do? We have plenty of riwayat, but I'll mention just two of them. One riwayat and one hadith says a person who does sila rahimi, who has the good tie with his relatives, with his own family. See, it starts with my own family. How do I have the connection? How do I have their relationship with my children, with my family, with my parents? Yeah. So if I'm not speaking with my parents, or if I'm not being good with my children, so that's one of the things. So there are so many people, they would have cut their relationship either with their parents or with their children or something. So Sila Rahmi is something which we have the connection with our family, the close ones. So the hadith, it says a person who has his life, let's say 3 years, if he is going to live for 3 more years, and if a person is going to die after 3 years. But if a person is good in this specific material, in specific Sila Rahmi, having good connections, Allah will increase his life from 3 years to 33 years. The same way, when I will count the bad ethics, there is the qat'a rahim, that is the, cutting the relation. We have the other hadith which says if a person was going to live for 33 years, and if you cut your tie and if you cut your relation with the close ones, so your life would decrease from 33 years to 3 years. I'm not saying this. One hadith is from our 6th Imam, and the other hadith is from Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Please recite one more salawat. So these are one of the things that we need. Everybody, every person in this world, he or she needs that. Then the other good action would be sabr. The other ethics is sabr. What is sabr? Patience. Now, there are types of sabr which I will be mentioning in the coming days. I don't want to mention it now, because if I start mentioning about the types of sabr and patience, the time would go. So I will mention it in one of the days when I will be, inshallah, explaining one of the hadiths of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. But today, one of the good things is having sabr. The opposite thing would be anger, the bad ethics, what we have in the society. When a person speaks badly with us, what do? What is our role? What should we do? Should we go and, let's say if a person says bad to us, what should we do? We should answer politely, is it? Or we should say the bad word? So of course we should be polite. Now, let's say one of the persons, he enters the city and he sees Imam Hassan alayhi salam. It is mentioned about Imam Hassan, but in one of the books I was reading, it is mentioned about Imam Hussein alayhi salam. But it is famous about Imam Hassan. It is said that a person came and he came to Imam Hassan and he started saying bad words to Imam. He said, I've heard very bad, and then he started saying bad words. Everybody must have heard this thing. So Imam Hassan alayhi salam, instead of answering him back or saying bad, what did Imam do? Imam said, you look like a stranger to me. I think you are a new person here. If you need food, we'll give you food. If you don't have place, we'll give you place. If you don't have anything, we'll provide you with that. So this person, a person who had heard bad about Imam Hassan, when he comes and meets Imam Hassan alayhi salam and he sees the great akhlaq and the manner and the behavior of Imam, he changes. He says, I have heard something else about you, but you are something beyond my thinking, what I have been thinking. Because we know that at the time of Imams, the enemies, they were trying to betray the people. They were trying to change the name and the moral of the Imams. They were telling bad about Imams to the others. But the people or the person who comes and directly meets Imam, they would know that how nice are the Imams. The next good thing will be being truthful. Sacha hona. Now, if we look at the name, the title of Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, please recite a salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Why he is known as Sadiq? Sadiq means a truthful person. So all of the Imams, they have been given their own title. So the title of the laqab of Imam Sadiq, Imam Ja'far, sixth Imam, is Sadiq. That means truthful. Even at the time of Prophet Muhammad, people, those who were the enemies, even the mushrikeen, they believed the Prophet to be truthful. They said that, Prophet, if you tell us that there are enemies or the army which is coming from behind the mountains, we would believe you. So a person has to be truthful. But do we see, if we don't see that truth and sachai in our society, that means we lack? Do we really speak the truth? क्या हम लोग हमेशा सच बोलते हैं अपनी ज़िंदगी में या झूठ भी बोल देते हैं दरमियान में? अगर इमाम सादिक के मानने वाले हैं तो वो खुसूसियत and that characteristics should be found in our akhlaq as well. अगर है तो बहुत अच्छी बात. But if we don't find that truthful or that truthfulness, we have to bring in our lives. The next good thing is the justice, adalat, adl barqarar karna. We spoke about one of the justice, that was Allah being just. That Allah is just. That was an ideology. But this is when we interact with others, are we really having that justice or not? At the time of Imam Ali alayhi salam, there were some of the judges, even some of the caliphs, they were making the wrong judgments. But when they were coming to Imam Ali alayhi salam to ask, okay, what is the ruling and what is the judgment for this case? Imam Ali would say that, no, this is the wrong one, what you have judged, I will give the right. So Imam Ali alayhi salam, full of justice. It is said that Imam Ali alayhi salam was killed. One of the reasons was because he was just. There is a person, his name is, starts with George, I don't remember the full name, I think he was Lebanese. He has written one of the books on Imam Ali alayhi salam. He says that humanity, Sawtul Idala, the voice of Idala, the voice of justice. He is a Christian person, but he is writing about Imam Ali alayhi salam. If a Christian person can write about Imam Ali and believe in Imam Ali alayhi salam, why can't we, being a Shia, have that characteristic in ourselves? If we have it, it's very good. We should increase it. We should try to give the haqq and the right to the others. We have to see that, okay, कहीं ऐसा तो नहीं कि हक़्क़ुन नास किसी का मारा जा रहा है. What is हक़्क़ुन नास? The rights of others. We'll say, okay, a person can go and steal anything. But what should be done? Is this adalat? Is this justice? No. This is something against the justice. This is something against what Ahlul Bayt had taught us. So if there is anything, if we have stolen anything, alhamdulillah, or nobody would have stolen here, but it doesn't mean just the money or something could be stolen here. It could be anything else as well. Maybe I had said something bad about a person on his back. Maybe I have backbited. Now backbiting, the ghiba, that is coming in the bad ethics, inshallah, I'll be opening that as well. So अगर हक़्क़ुन नास किसी का मारा है तो उसे माफ़ी मांगनी पड़ेगी. Because haqqullah, we said, those are regarding the connection and the interaction, our connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If we don't do it, we should do it. But let's say if a person does not fulfill the haqqullah, Allah can forgive him. If we ask Allah, that would be forgiven. But if there is something, I have done something bad to a person, if I don't ask for forgiveness from that person, but on our hand we would say that Allah will forgive. No, Allah says you have to ask for forgiveness from that person. But yes, there's one thing. If there are some of the some of the scenarios or situations that it becomes impossible for a person to go and ask for forgiveness from that person. Because let's say अगर हम लोग उस बंदे के पास जाएंगे माफ़ी मांगने के लिए, झगड़ा लड़ाई शुरू हो जाएगी. So in those cases a person can do istighfar on behalf of the other person. But for the things, let's say if we have done something bad, if we can go and ask for forgiveness, we can just go and tell him or tell her that maybe I have done something bad to you, please forgive me. Why? Because if haqqun nas, if it is not cleared in this world, it would be very difficult on the day of judgment. Because it is mentioned that if we have something on our shoulders, if we have not fulfilled the right of the others, on the day of judgment, ya pule sirat pe ya usse pehle, if a person comes and asks you for it, we won't be able to go and cross that pule sirat. It would be very difficult for us. Now again, I'm not telling these things so you people get scared and don't come for Majlis tomorrow. No. These are the things so we can think about it, so we can improve ourselves. These are the things which Imam Hussein alayhi salam himself, he wanted. Imam said that if you have anything to return, you should go and return to the others in the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam as well. The next good ethics would be keep up your promises. If we promise, we should be keeping up the promises. The beginning of Surah Nisa, the verse is, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu awfu bil uqud, it says that if you promise, you should be fulfilling that. So it is something, कहीं ऐसा ना हो कि हम लोग कसम खाते फिरें और हम लोग जो है उसको पूरी ना करते फिरें. The next good ethics would be helping the orphans or the needy people. Now there are so many orphans we would find. Let's say the priority would be if we have any yatim, an orphan in our family, in our relatives, we should be taking care of him or her. So this is the thing what the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam wants. The same way the contentment, the qana'at, we should try to have that contentment on some of the things. Alhamdulillah, all of the people here would have everything, whatever you want, you would get it. But let's say sometimes we don't get what we want. Sometimes it's not wajib to have that thing. If we don't get it when we want, leave it on Allah. Say, okay, Allah, I'm trying. If I get it, good. But we should be thankful for what Allah had given us. He had bestowed with so many things. He had given us everything. So we should be looking at those positive things and not the negativity that I don't have this one thing. So leave that thing if you don't have one thing. See those 100 things what we have been given. And the same way the charity, we should try to do the charity. A person comes to one of the ma'soom, he says that I am a needy person. I don't have anything. So the ma'soom says, go and do infaq, give charity. So this person says, I don't have anything to give in the way. You are you are asking me to go and give so you can get it. Yeah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if anything you give in the way of Allah, Allah multiplies it and gives you back. The charity, the sadaqah, and those things which are given. Now coming to the bad ethics. The 5 to 10 minutes what I have, I'll try to summarize these things. One of the bad ethics would be the same thing we spoke about, the sila rahim. That would be the opposite, would be the qat rahim. That is the cutting the relations with the close ones, especially let's say the father, mother, brothers, sisters. Yeah. So the next would be takabbur, the pride. Let's say if we have money, does it mean that I am wealthy, I am healthy? Does it mean I should do takabbur? I should have pride? यानी ये खुदा ने ही दिया और यही इंसान आके तकब्बुर करता है. We have a hadith from the Kalimat Qisar from Imam Ali alayhi salam where he says that just उसका मफहूम ये है, where Imam says that I am surprised from a person who does takabbur but he is born from a najis. Every person is born from a najis, from najasat, but this person, when he grows up, he starts doing takabbur. Takabbur of what? I have ilm, I have knowledge, I have money, I have wealth. Let's say I have, मेरे पास घर है, 10 कनाल का 1000 कनाल का भी घर हो या कुछ भी हो, नहीं, ये सब कुछ खुदा का है. Eventually when we die, we don't take anything with us. सबसे पहले जो इंसान चीज़ जब इस दुनिया से जाएगा, जो चीज़ वो भूली जाएगी उसका नाम है और उसका काम है. Now even a person, let's say a person is a doctor, engineer, या whatever, चाहे कर्नल हो, चाहे कैप्टन हो, whatever, we have different stages and different posts, वो सबसे पहले वही लूज करेगा जाके कब्र में. So nothing will go with us in the grave. What goes with us is our actions, the beliefs and the akhlaq, what we are studying today. Then we have different examples. Luqman Hakim, who is mentioned in history as well, it was asked from him that where did you learn this akhlaq from? You know what did he say? What could be the answer? We would think that okay, a person would go and learn from some teacher. No, he says, I learned the akhlaq and adab from those people, those who don't have akhlaq. What does it mean? If a person whom I am dealing with, if that person doesn't have akhlaq, so I learned from him to not to do that and not to have that bad behavior. So this is the way when a person can improve his akhlaq. Please recite a salawat. Then one of the bad ethics would be backbiting. This is something we can say very, very common in our societies. Backbiting, ghibat. Ghibat, what does it mean? Backbite. Alhamdulillah, you know English better than me. So backbite means someone who bites you from back. Yeah? So what does it mean? Ye lafz hi kis liye English mein isko banaya? Because you cannot defend yourself there. You are not present there and some person comes and backbites you. You cannot defend that. Now the example of this, which is mentioned in Quran in Surah Hujarat in verse 11, 12 or 13, where it says Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling that if a person who does the ghibat, who backbites, is just like a person who what? Is like a person who eats the flesh, the dead flesh of his dead brother. यानी क्या? अपने मुर्दा भाई के गोश्त को खाने के बराबर है. We don't see the reality here. But in barzakh, what is barzakh, which starts after we die? Ye dunya hai, then barzakh as soon as we die. So barzakh starts until qiyamah, that barzakh would be there. And we are creating that barzakh right now in this world. If we backbite, it is just equivalent to the same thing that you are eating the flesh of your dead brother. Now why dead brother? Let's think about this. कि खुदा ने कुरान के अंदर ये क्यों कहा कि अपने मुर्दा भाई के गोश्त के खाने के बराबर है ग़ीबत? Why? Let's think about this scientifically. अगर इंसान को चोट लग जाए, let's say if I hit somewhere, if there is a wound, that would recover in a few days. But if there is a dead body, अगर उसको जाके आप सुराख कर दे, it's not going to repair, it's not going to recover. So this is something that we are making our barzakh by that dead body, murda bhai के खाने के बराबर, कि अगर उसका गोश्त उतार दिया जाए, it's not going to come back. And that is why, and that is what we are building, what we are creating. So the barzakh, our barzakh will depend on our a'mal. Inshallah, if we have time, in one of the days, we'll try to touch the topic of barzakh as well. The other thing, the West tries to teach us to learn your own rights. But what does Islam do? Islam does not tell you just your own rights. Islam tells you to learn the rights of others as well. Now let's say if I am a son and a husband, I should know the rights of my wife, my children and my parents as well. Now let's say if there is a wife, she should know the rights of her husband and parents as well. So Islam हमें ये सिखाता है कि दूसरों के हुकूक को भी पूरा करें. मगर दुश्मन क्या कहता है? It will just teach you the right, what you have right. Okay, I have right, I can go and sue, I can call the police. Why? Because I want to get my right. But if we look the other way, what Islam teaches us, what Imam Sajjad teaches us in Risalatul Huquq, Inshallah, on the 12th, we'll be speaking about Imam Sajjad and Saif al-Sajjadiya as well. There is Risalat al-Huquq, the treatise, where he teaches us the huquq, the rights of others. That what is the right of my parents? What is the right of my hands? What is the right of my ears and my eyes? So beautifully he explains. So Islam teaches us how to have those social ethics and behaviors with others, while knowing the rights of others and your own rights as well. How much time do we have so I can? 5 minutes. Okay. So we have 5 minutes. Inshallah, I'll try to just recite few masaib, and then inshallah we can come to the question and answers as well. Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdillah wa ala al-arwah allati hallat bifinaik. Alayka minni salamullahi abada ma baqitu wa baqiya al-laylu wan-nahar ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين. We send salawat and salutations on the ashab of Hussein alayhi salam. The things what we have mentioned in today's good ethics, if the people in Karbala, if they did not have these good ethics, they wouldn't be there. ان کا اخلاق تھا, ان کے پیٹ حرام سے بھرے نہیں تھے کہ وہ کربلا میں تھے. So they had that great akhlaq which pulled them towards the plains of Karbala. And today, you know, ہم لوگ کس کا ذکر کرنے والے ہیں؟ آج اس شہید کا ذکر ہے کہ جو سب سے چھوٹا شہید ہے کربلا کا. And that is Hazrat Ali Asghar alayhi salam. I can see the kids here as well, the mothers here, which when we go back, یعنی واسطہ دے کے جائیں, کیونکہ تاریخ میں ہے کہ ایک باب الحوائج حضرت عباس ہیں اور دوسرے باب الحوائج یہ 6 ماہ کا بچہ ہے جناب علی اصغر علیہ السلام. واسطہ دیں, انہیں یاد کریں کہ جو قربانی امام حسین علیہ السلام نے دی تھی. Now I'm trying to do the masaib in Urdu as well, and I hope most of you would understand as well. علامہ ذیشان حیدر جوادی فرماتے ہیں, وہ کہتے ہیں کہ when back in the days when the kings used to write the letter, جب بادشاہ اپنے خط لکھا کرتے تھے نا, تو وہ آخر میں ایک مہر لگا دیا کرتے تھے اسٹیمپ, کہ اس کا یہ مطلب ہوتا تھا کہ اس مہر کے بعد اور کچھ نہیں کہنا اور یہ اصلی لیٹر. تو علامہ جوادی فرماتے ہیں کہ امام حسین کو ایک ایسے چھوٹی قربانی کی ضرورت پڑی کہ جو قربانی اپنے اسلام پر دے دی, اور وہ جناب علی اصغر تھے, کہ یہ قربانی دے کر دکھا دیا یزیدی فوج کو بھی کہ دیکھو میں اسلام بچانے آیا ہوں اپنے لیے. It is mentioned, everybody knows that when Janab Ali Asghar was brought. Now imagine, on the 7th of Muharram, the water was closed, the Furat was surrendered, they didn't allow the people to go and get water. Imagine کریں, کم از کم تصور کریے گا, جو مائیں ہیں یا بچے ہیں, تصور کریں کہ ایک چھوٹا سا بچہ کہ جس کو پانی بھی نہ ملے. Can we imagine that? Or the mothers, even the mother who cannot feed properly, کہ اپنے بچے کو نہ کچھ کھلا سکے نہ کچھ پلا سکے. ذرا تصور کریں کتنا سخت ہوگا. اور یہ کون ہے؟ یہ کوئی عام بچہ نہیں ہے, یہ حسین ابن علی کا بچہ. So Imam Hussein alayhi salam, he brought on the day of Ashura, he brought Hazrat Ali Asghar alayhi salam outside. خیموں سے باہر لے کر آئے. کس لیے؟ تاکہ اگر دشمن تم اس سے دشمنی کرتے ہو تو اس بچے کو پانی دے دینا. مگر کیا کیا؟ کیا پانی دیا؟ یزیدی فوج نے بھی جب دیکھا کہ نہیں جناب علی اصغر آ گئے, یزیدی فوج بھی تھر تھرا گئی, ڈر گئی کہ یہ چھوٹا سا بچہ آ گیا, ہماری اس سے کیا دشمنی ہے. مگر ایک آواز آئی, حرملا کم, آ کے اقطع کلام الحسین, آ کے حسین کے اس کلام کو قطع کر دو, قطع کر دو. جب حرملا آیا ہے تو تاریخ میں ملتا ہے کہ کوئی عام تیر نہیں لے کر آیا, بلکہ وہ تیر لے کر آیا جو تیر سے شعبے تھا, کہ جو جب بدن میں جائے تو آسانی سے نہ نکلے. اور یہ وہی تیر تھا کہ جو انسانوں کے لیے استعمال نہیں ہوتا تھا, جانور کے لیے استعمال ہوتا تھا. So imagine how difficult would that be for Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Now, just to mention, and then inshallah we can go to the question and answer session. جب امیر مختار was a person who came after Karbala, جنہوں نے بدلہ لیا. He used to catch people, وہ آ کے لوگوں کو پکڑا کرتا تھا اور کہتا تھا کہ بتا تو نے کیا کیا کیا. جب حرملا کو آ کے پکڑا تو کہا, حرملا بتا تو نے کیا کیا کیا, تو نے کتنے تیر چلائے. حرملا نے کہا میں نے تقریباً 4 تیر چلائے ہیں. اب میرے پاس ٹائم نہیں ہے, صرف اس میں سے ایک تیر میں بتا دوں کہ اس نے کہا ایک تیر جو تھا وہ میں نے جناب امام حسین علیہ السلام کی طرف چلایا تھا. اور ایک اور تیر جب پوچھا کہ بتا اور کیا تو نے, اس نے کہا کہ میں نے ایک تیر اس 6 ماہ کے بچے پر چلایا. روایت میں ملتا ہے کہ تیر صرف جا کے لگا نہیں ہے, بالاذن والاذن, ایک جگہ سے گیا اور دوسری جگہ سے نکل گیا. مگر ہائے نہ جانے حسین کا حال اس وقت کیا ہوا ہوگا. ہماری جانیں قربان امام حسین پر, اور اس قربانی پر کہ جو قربانی امام نے خدا کے راہ میں دی, اور یہ دکھا دیا کہ دیکھو میں اپنے مقصد کے لیے نہیں آیا تھا, بلکہ میں خدا کے اسلام کو بچانے کے لیے آیا تھا. الا لعنت اللہ علی القوم الظالمین وسیعلم الذین ظلموا ای منقلب ینقلبون. Now we have a few minutes for a question and answer. If you have anything, کوئی سوال یا جواب, سوال اگر اسی سے حوالے سے ہو آج کے سیشن سے.
If anybody has any questions, please raise your hand. Yes? Yes? Do you have any questions? Yes? Any questions? Anybody? Amna, you have a question? Please ask. Come on, go ahead. It's okay. Okay, why don't you tell me the question, Fatma? Why don't you tell me the question? Okay. Anybody else? Maybe one of you guys. Do you have any questions? Okay, they have a couple of questions. They want me to write them down.
Okay, sure.
And then I'll give them to you so
Sure.
that they can have a separate session with you.
ٹھیک ہے انشاءاللہ.
So we will manage that session for you. That's all right. I have a question that I wanted to ask after today's Majlis. So what we were talking about ethics, right? Do you have a question? Do you have a question?
نہیں بیٹھ.
Yes. What question? After this. Okay. Okay. So my question is, I have noticed this. I grew up literally in this Imam Barga as well. I was as old as my daughter, who is 8 years old. Now I'm 44, so I've literally spent all my life here. So I've noticed something, that the morals and the ethics that are taught to us through the Majlis, believe me, we as Shias are the last people who would actually, follow them. For example, when we will get up from the Majlis, we will leave our dirty tissues behind. Is that something that is ethical? I mean, let's be honest about it. I really wanted to share this with you guys because I feel that is something that we as the followers of Imam Hussain alayhi salam should be following very religiously or diligently. Okay, when we are asked to make a line, do we make a line? We normally don't. We cut corners. We normally don't do that. Okay, how about I'm guilty of that. My kids can tell you about that as well. Road rage. Okay, so when we're outside driving, how many of us, I think most of you guys, the older ones, you drive. Do you guys have road rage? Yes? Is that something that we should have? Especially after, okay, so when we get, inshallah, get done from the Majlis, we go back, we sit back in our cars and we go out. Yes, we will find, we will get stuck in the traffic because it's rush hour. But we forget the message of Karbala of Imam Hussain especially. And what is that? Patience, empathy. As Maulana Sahab mentioned, rights, we have rights, yes, absolutely. But we need to be aware of the rights the others will have. Okay, Maulana Sahab mentioned rights of what a wife should know, the rights of her children, of her parents, of her husband. But what about the rights of our friends, rights of our neighbors, even those who we meet every day? For example, the rights of somebody sitting next to you, the right of the person who's sitting right next to you. So do we actually acknowledge that? So, anybody who would like to talk about ethics, I would love for any one of you to speak up about it, because we as Shias, or as normal human beings, forget about Shias. The religion, I think Imam Hussain is not about Shiaism. Imam Hussain taught us about humanity. And that is the last thing we as Shias do these days. That is my take. And I would urge all of you, especially the older ones, inshallah, to use this opportunity to not to take something back, as Maulana Sahab said, and this is something that I also want to do as well, that every day we come to the Majlis, we should take something with us and maybe learn it, change it within ourselves, and ask, all of you should ask us, because we are older to you, whatever you've learned, if we do that, you should come back to us, to your parents, and say, hey, remember this is something that we learned in the Majlis, why are you doing it? You should call out your parents or your elders. It's absolutely fine. Yes, Manu.
Okay, so I got the question. The question is, what is the definition of backbiting, correct? So backbiting, ghibat is something that when a person is not there, and you're speaking on his back about his bad things. So a person, let's say एक बंदे ने कोई बुरी बात की, a person, let's say he has spoken something bad. So if I come on his back and speak about him, it could be anything. A person, maybe he possesses bad ethics, or it could be anything. So I go to some other friend and tell him or her about the bad thing of that person. So this would be backbiting. Is that clear?
Is that clear, or even I want to ask?
Yeah.
We are just talking about a person, and this person said this thing to me about something or somebody, and it's something bad. We're just mad, and is that also backbiting?
See, if it is something which is bad about that person, then we are not allowed to speak about that.
It's only bad. Otherwise, it's okay about somebody.
See, there could be, so what is mentioned is, let's say if a person doesn't have an eye, अगर उसकी आँख नहीं है, तो आप किसी को बताएंगे कि वो बंदा कि जिसकी एक आँख नहीं है. This is something bad, but now this is not counted as backbiting. So this is not counted as backbiting. But backbiting is something which is about a person, that is a reality, but that person cannot defend himself or herself. So that's, in reality, he or she had done something bad. and you are coming and saying. Now there are exceptional cases about that. Again, I will say that, and then inshallah maybe you can go and search in the books as well. There are a few exceptional cases about backbiting. About what? Now, let's say one of them is, let's say if a person is coming, अगर किसी ने रिश्ते के लिए आपसे पूछना है. Okay, there is a person wants his son or his daughter to get married. Of course, he will go and search for the other family. So, किसी से जब पूछा जाएगा तो वो सच्चाई उसके बारे में बताए, मगर जितना हक है, हक से ज़्यादा नहीं. So that is allowed and those are exceptional cases. या मिसाल के तौर पर अगर कोई एक मोमिन की जान ख़तरे में है, अगर कोई काफिर आपसे आके पूछे इस मोमिन के बारे में, if a kafir comes and asks you about the mu'min, so at that places you can even hide and you can even lie about that. Now again, these are exceptional cases which cannot be used in our normal lives. So that is why, we have exceptional cases. So that is one of the exceptional cases where we can speak about, but we have to be careful about that.
In cases like if somebody is being cheated, when you want to tell a person, you don't do any business with that person because this person is not fair or not honest, then that is not backbiting.
Yeah. So that is, so that comes in mashurat. That comes in advice. So when you take the mashurat, जब मशवरत किया जाए या मुशावरा किया जाए, when you take the advice, in that cases it is allowed. Why? Because you want to be away from that thing. क्योंकि अगर कोई सच बोल देगा, of course you will go and you will lose that. You will lose the business and everything. So in चीज़ों में these are the exceptional cases where that can, But we are talking about the general things. Like what happens is that, let's say if you are sitting in a gathering, what would happen is we don't have anything to speak up. But ghibat, mashallah, if we start doing it, हमारे पास time ख़त्म नहीं होगा. So that is the one we have to take care. So we have to control ourselves. कि नहीं,
Maulana, this is something that I would like to ask you about. So for example, I say, it's just an example, it's not something that I do, and just an example. I say to my son that, you should not be hanging out with XYZ, let's say, any person, because he is bad, he's doing this, he's doing that, he did that one day, he did XYZ things one day. I am speaking bad about somebody who has done something bad. I am just relating that to my son so that my son, let's say, should be aware of this person. Is that considered backbiting?
See, one thing is if you are just making him aware about the people, of course that's a very good thing. यानी वालिदैन को ये करना चाहिए. They should show the way to their children that who to go around and hang with and who not to go with. So this is something which is required by the parents. If we see something bad in others, but again this bad and good has to be according to Islam. It shouldn't be according to my own will and my own wish. So it has to be according to Islam. अगर इस्लाम बुरा कहता है कि उसके साथ इस्लाम बुरा कहता है उस हैबिट के बारे में कि जो उस बंदे के पास है उस स्टूडेंट के पास. So if I ask my son not to go with him on the basis of Islam, that's correct.
Okay, so that's not backbiting.